Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for coming to my channel and to my home where we are going to look at, how about that for a camera move, the 135 gallon freshwater display aquarium in the dining room of my Chicago apartment, which is looking super pretty because we cleaned it all up today and I wanted to take advantage of that and give you a little peek at our home. All right, but you're not here for that. Plenty of channels do interior decorating and all that sort of thing. You're here for this. Okay, folks, front on, medium close up, as close as I can get while still having the entire tank and frame. This is 135 gallons, freshwater, heavily planted display aquarium. It sits in a custom-made cabinet that I had a group construct for me to my specs in California when I lived there. And this used to be a saltwater tank, but I converted it to freshwater when I moved back to Chicago. For one reason, I didn't want to have to deal with saltwater with hardwood floors. That's not a question of if there will be issues, just when. And also, I'm not on the first floor, so hauling up ROD water or dealing with what you have to deal with to maintain a saltwater reef system, especially one that gets to be of size like this, prohibitive in an apartment. And I wanted to keep my hands in the tank. That's more than just a pseudo slogan of this channel. It's kind of my passion. And with saltwater, I always needed a little bit of help. Like I had a person come by every other week to help me service the tank, to clean out the sump and bring in some new water. I don't want to have to deal with that. I want to do it all by myself. So while I still have a sump down here, which is awesome, I set it all up myself and I maintain it by myself. So that's a little bit of, hopefully not tooting my own horn, just facts. And maybe I'll peek into the sump before this video is all over. Maybe not. Could be a subject for another video. But standing about 8 feet away from the aquarium, you get a cool sense of how the fish establish their territories. You see to the left the group of harlequin rasboras sitting tight amongst the jungle veil, and just below them is scattered about some wild-caught cardinal tetras that I got from Ocean Design Aquarium here in Chicago. I don't know how many of each of these lovely creatures I have, but they tend to favor the left-hand side of the aquarium, at least while the lights are on. However, they will migrate over to the other side when it's darker, and they will, of course, do what all fish do when food is in the water, move to the top, become much more vigorous. But I love them occupying that space right there because all these bigger boisterous fish have plenty of tank space of their own, and none of them are in violation of one another. So it's truly a community tank. As many creatures as are in this system, they are 98% harmonious. Now there will be a squabble here and there, but it's seldom. I'm not lying. It's rare that I ever have to deal with aggression, even with angelfish, of which I have 5. And I can see 4 of them right now. This beautiful, albeit super common marble with the gold top, and then a long fin, a veal tail, classic silver angelfish. All of them are scalare, nothing too fancy in this aquarium as far as the angelfish. And there's 2 others right there. A standard fin to the left, and then another long fin to the right. That long fin is the biggest fish in this aquarium. I know it's a male because when it was spawning with this one at some point, she was the female. But even with those angelfish, I don't have any squabbling, not amongst themselves, nor with the other fish. Another potential bully would be this gimonstrous Siamese algae eater, the reticulated version. Basically a panfish at this point, but he really is a gentle giant, and maybe he doesn't clean the algae like he used to, and he is a little piggy, a big piggy, but he's super pleasant with all the other fish. Is pleasant the right word? I mean, he's right in there in the thick of it, and they're not bothered by it, and he's not bothered by them. He will eat a ton of fish food though, and he's first in line whenever fish food is in the water. When they're smaller, they're extraordinary algae eaters. But you know what? I don't have very much algae in this aquarium, and certainly not blackbeard algae. So whether he's doing his job or not, kind of a moot point, because I don't need his services right now, but I don't have to catch him out either because he's not causing any stress. Not the prettiest fish in this tank, but in his own way with that yellow dorsal fin and black tail spot, pretty to me. Now, straight up beauty goes to the rainbow fish. There's a millennium on the right, a teacup sized rust red, full body colored millennium rainbow fish, likely a male. There's another one, I have 3. And then look at that rainbow fish, or yeah, they're all rainbow fish. That Bosemani, that's a male with the awesome fire colored back half. That species tends to be bicolored, bisected with black stripes depending on its origin, place of origin. They can vary somewhat. That's a female there, much more boring. Sorry honey, but it's true. Still, keep males and females of every species that you keep if you can. It's better than just one sex, with a few exceptions. Obviously betas come to mind. That's a whole other story, and everybody knows it, so I won't even spend another moment on that. I'm trying to zero in on that lovely fancy swordtail back there. Gorgeous animal, live bear. I don't have too many of them in here. Up as I speak, a black molly with that fabulous leer tail. That molly was put in here as a baby fish fry to feed the other fish. And like that other one there and a few others, there's one in the back, it just flat out grew up. So Darwin's theory of evolution, there's now like 4. It's getting a little out of hand, although this is a different color morph, the gold dust molly with the leer tail. It's like it was sprayed with just one coat of gold spray paint. The most underrated fish, in my opinion, not only in this tank but in the hobby, are the dwarf neon rainbow fish, the praecox. These aren't so dwarf, folks. I mean, those are silver dollar sized fish, and I have a whole group of them. I actually got this group from Primetime Aquatics at a swap, so look at how they turned out. I'll be seeing them shortly at the Greenwater swap in the suburbs of Chicago. I see them all the time, and I did buy a bag of juveniles last year, and this is what they turned into. Now these are all males, females, with the females are the yellowtail. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And males have the red. It's really easy to tell. I have more males than females is what I was trying to say, but nevertheless, both sexes. These fish are easy to spawn, but not in here, not with this crowd. And if they are spawning, and I don't doubt that they are, because they're not intimidated by their surroundings, they're pretty much motivated to spawn. None of the eggs, and certainly not fry, would likely make it. Now, as I say that, the black mollies made it, but that's a different horse. They come out much bigger, they come out alive, and they're immediately able to feed on anything, and they do. And they take cover, and they're much more fiercely independent and capable as fry than any rainbow fish fry, which are, despite the size of the adults, extremely tiny and fragile. I have a whole bunch of Plecos in here, all different kinds of the bristlenose family. There's one, that one grew up in here, it was born in here. I didn't put any in that big in a long time, so any 2 inchers like that one are babies. They have spawned in here and they're all over the place, but so far it's not a problem. Here's a long fin variety. I did put that one in here. And then there's a lemon blue eye. I did put that one in here. So the very big ones I put in here, and the 2 inches or so hatched up. And instead of using clay caves, I've got so many natural caves in here. Natural meaning, you know, based on the hardscape. I didn't purposefully design caves to spawn anything, but that's where they do it. Look at that. There are also coolie loaches in there and giant amano shrimp and God knows what else. But I have seen tiny Plecos here and there in groups. And I hope the population can stay consistent and not get too much more overwhelming. There is a Farawalla catfish. They too have spawned. I've seen young ones of them as well. And maybe we'll spot one, maybe we won't. I have 2 kinds of Coreodoras in here, 2 kinds of numbers, the Adelphi Cory to the left and the iconic Sterbai Cory to the right. Both of those fish I also got at swaps along with, but maybe from Prime Time. I know he sells those Corys, especially the Adelphi Coreodoras. But I think I might have got them from Nationwide Aquatics from George, another great vendor in the Chicagoland area. I'm happy to drop all these names in the event that it helps them in their enterprise. There, as I move in, are one of I don't know how many Otocinclus, a white or pink ram's horn snail. The snail population stays quite modest in this aquarium for whatever reason, thank God. There is a rabbit snail. You see him there with the yellow foot. When they move along the bottom, like this direction, that direction, along the front of the tank, it looks just like somebody dragging their luggage across a parking lot. It is hilarious. There is a gimonstrous Plecostomus bristlenose male. That's just its color, that red saddle on the top. It's not a blemish or anything, nothing to be concerned about. You see me looking at you and you're looking at me with that little blue eye and that fabulous iconic mustache. I just passed by a Hygrophila pinnafatata that was a sprig I pulled from another tank and just wedged down here. It was 2 inches, and now it's growing right out of the rock work. I am keeping the front more or less clear to have a stage for all my creatures, as opposed to a carpet or anything like that. Look at that Bucephalandra. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. It took a minute. And there is some spot algae on it, but now it's really coming into its own. There's a flower developing right there. A cryptocorn forest. Lots of people have these now in their tanks, at least from what I'm seeing on YouTube, and I don't blame them. What a marvelous, easy way to get that lush look. And crypts grow slowly. And if you want to keep them in check, you can literally pull out the entire plant versus cutting leaves. These are common Crypt Wendetti or something similar. I do have the Crypt Balancea with the thinner variegated leaves. I have those throughout the aquarium. And that is Hygrophila blue, I believe. Just a sprig. I've got that. There's one back there. And then I've got a group of them that I just chopped down in front of the inflow of the sump behind this incredible sword plant. Because I'm showing you the stalks, I'll show you what you probably can already guess. There it is, growing right out of the water there. And I'm letting it. I think if I didn't let it, I might have leaves underwater here. But since the plant is super healthy and it's dead center, folks, dead center, that V is so cool and so graphic. I'm inclined to just go with it. There's Anubias out the yin-yang throughout the rockwork, which is primarily Ceru stone, and this ironwood, as I call it, big heavy pieces of driftwood. They don't degrade, and the Plecos have done their thing on it. Now they're not wood feeders, but they do rasp at it, and some flimsier wood after a couple years can fall apart because of that, but not these pieces. But in between all of that, I've got epiphytes, as I said, primarily Anubias. It's funny, a lot of times I start with this fish here, the opaline or blue gourami. I have two of them. They're not a pair. I think they're both the same sex, and I think they're both females. They never fight. They're very peaceful. And many people, it's their favorite fish. Of all these crazy fish, the shapes of angelfish and rainbow fish, this unusual, almost bizarre millennium, the leer tails, people gravitate to the opaline gourami. Its subtle beauty just charms people, and they always, more than a few people have said that's their favorite fish in here. And who am I to argue? I'm quiet on purpose, folks. I didn't lose my voice. I have floating plants up here, water lettuce, frogbit, sylvinia, different kinds depending on circumstances can take over, and then another one will take over in their place. I removed the glass lids and that immediately stimulated them. I wanted to throw more light down here for certain plants, like this Hygrophila arugia, which basically it didn't work for that plant. And as that plant founders, I've been pulling out pieces and replanting them in a heavier, more contained ecosystem. And when I show you those, it's incredible how beautiful they look. But the extra light hasn't done any harm, and it'll be helpful to some of the plants, like the Hygrophila. I can already tell as I move to find one. This Hygrophila right there did not look as robust and vigorous when the lids were on. It just didn't. Still grew, but it wasn't as cool as it is now. So as I said, it's run on a sump, and that's a whole aquarium under an aquarium. There are videos on my channel that specifically film and talk about it. It hasn't changed a lot. I mean, it's changed a lot in that it's matured a lot, but I haven't done anything different. And if you just scroll on my feed, you will find entire videos devoted to it. So I won't belabor this one, especially as I'm filming with one hand, to go down there and open those cabinets and blah, blah, blah. Plenty for you to take in here. Now, there are other species in here. I'm just not seeing them. There's whiptail catfish, nearite snails, mystery snails. Wait, I see something. There's a coolie loach's back half right there, siestaing on a big old rhizome from that Anubias. I don't know how many I have in here of them. The cool thing about even the fish you don't see, like those in particular, and the Amano shrimps in this tank, you don't see them that much. for obvious reasons. Look at these big fish, but they are constantly working in these nooks and crannies, keeping it free of debris, which can turn into detritus and foul the whole tank. I know they're working at it. I have proof by my eyes, and I see them ducking in and out. So that whole underworld there, to be a water fly on the wall and see all that's going on down in those caves would be so cool. A Bolivian ram, I've got 4 of them, 2 pairs. They're completely happy. They don't bother anyone and no one bothers them, and moreover, they don't bicker amongst themselves. The male and female, that's a male, tend to stay close by to one partner, but 4 of them don't school together very often. They did when they were young, and usually they would hang out in these crypt forests, but now they've been more want to check out the entire tank and form new territories. There's a black molly chasing one for whatever reason. Group of catfish, Coreodoras. I have all kinds of substrate here. I mean, we're looking at common gravel and sand, which has kind of formed a combination layer here, and not too much in the way of aqua soil until we get to each corner where the crypts are. But even then, the aqua soil was not as much as I would put in if I did it all over again. And then as we move back, there is a layer of lava rock underneath as a base in bags, and then UNS, I don't know, 60 pounds, maybe more, of their contra soil, and then probably an inert gravel and sand cap, and then the hardscape, obviously, Ceru stone, the big pieces of wood, some slate, which honestly is a cheap, easy way to sort of capture the, broken Ceru stone, as opposed to buying a $15 bag of pebbles. I mean, slate is everywhere. Walk the dog, you'll find some. Just grab a few pieces and wash it. That's what I do. Honestly, same thing with lava rock, red and black. Everybody uses it, and no one cares if you take a few pieces. There's a standard bronze Coreodora. I'm gonna pull back and thank you again for coming to my channel, and asking you by all means to continue and support me, like and subscribe. And even more importantly, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I promise I'll answer them, and not just with a thumbs up emoji. Okay folks, always keep your hands in the tank, albeit carefully, and ciao for now.